RPN is not responsible for the views, actions, opinions, or statements of its guests, advertisers, or even its viewers. The information on this program is not to be construed as medical or legal advice. An appearance on this show is not necessarily an endorsement, and as always, we encourage you to do your own research. Enjoy the show. Good evening, everyone. You're listening to Red Pill 78. As always, I am Zak the Corruption Detector, and this is another edition of Red Pill News for Saturday Night Livestream. Joining me tonight, internet phenomenon, Judith Rose. You will remember her as the former hardcore liberal, I guess, we don't know. But now, somebody who's opening up her eyes to a lot of different things. Namely, that Donald Trump is saving the world. I hope everyone is having a lovely evening. Do me a favor, guys. Don't forget to like and share this broadcast. Help us break through the algorithm. We can only do it with the support of viewers like you. If you guys don't know who Judith is, you're going to learn real soon. We're going to have a comfy conversation, and as always in the second hour, you can call in with your own questions. Discussion will probably run the gamut. And there's a cat. All right, gang, do me a favor. Sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, and we'll be right back after a very brief word from our sponsor. Well, friends, there's a famous old saying that goes, "May you live in interesting times." And we certainly are. Our world is so sharply divided right now, even our basic American right to free speech is under a heavy attack. In fact, my channel here is being suppressed. I've been shadow banned, and it's because I'm not politically correct. If they want to take it all away, you might wake up one day and find that you can't see my content anymore. Perhaps nobody will, unless you know to look for me. It's a sneaky, underhanded form of censorship, and it's all because certain people don't like what I have to say. Now, since I depend on revenue from the product partners I promote, if no one can find or see my content anymore, then I'm out of business. Goodbye, Red Pill News. I certainly hope that never happens, but these days, anything can go wrong at any time. And that's why I teach self-reliance and emergency preparedness, especially when it comes to your food, water, and other vital necessities. As you know, I fully endorse the products from My Patriot Supply, and the advertising revenue I receive in return helps me pay my bills and enables me to keep bringing you great content like this. But any day now, that might stop. So please prepare in advance. I'd like to make a special request. If you've been planning to buy from My Patriot Supply but you've been putting it off, now is the time to act while you still can. If you've already purchased what you need, I want to thank you sincerely. But as you can see, for the time being, the future isn't looking much better than what we've just been through. Frankly, it's probably going to get a lot worse leading up to the election. And that's why I urge you to take a moment right now and go to preparewithredpill78.com and make your purchase while you still can. My Patriot Supply is the only source I personally use and trust, and you can too. And right now you can save $100 off a full 4-week supply of delicious, nutritious meals your whole family will love. My Patriot Supply makes it easy to be prepared at all times, and saving $100 off a life-saving 4-week supply of food is too good a chance to pass up. The future is so uncertain, I urge you to go to preparewithredpill78.com and get ready now. Once again, that's preparewithredpill78.com. Do it now, and remember, when you support my sponsors, you support this channel. All right, guys, Muffingate 2.0. As soon as the commercial says that something might go wrong, Muffin starts barking. Please join me in welcoming to the broadcast my guest for this evening, Judith Rose. Judith, how are you tonight?
Hello, that is my cue, I assume. I was like, I can unmute my mic now? Yes, okay. Hello.
Oh, it's okay. You know, when you're doing live shows, there's always something that will go amiss. It's guaranteed. It's guaranteed. So, Judith, I want the audience to just get an introduction to you. Perhaps my description was overly simplistic, but, you know, I mean, I learned about you because you had done some videos talking about how you had previously been very anti-President Trump and you had been trolling him, and then you started getting some information and you started opening up your eyes and things changed for you. So please, who is Judith Rose?
Absolutely. So, I mean, most of my life, I hadn't really been that in tune to politics. You know, I was voting age like around the time that Obama showed up. And I voted for him twice, and I voted for Hillary, and I, you know, fed into the narrative. I didn't know what was going on. We're going to keep moving over the dogs. Um, and you know, it got really weird in May, you know, when I had this just like gut feeling that the virus was purposeful.
Right.
I was just like, I mean, if I were rich people who didn't want to like listen to the people, I would probably just cut the population with things like the biochemical warfare. I mean, because I don't know, it just felt strange. And then, you know, I was going to a couple of BLM protests because I care about people and I thought it was making a difference, blah, blah, blah. You know, I didn't know.
Of course, yeah.
I didn't know anything that was going on. It was just like, okay, yeah, this is what we're doing now, you know, kind of thing. And so I was very angry all the time, you know, like when you're in tune to all that stuff, it's like they force you to like constantly grieve and focus on all the bad things that are happening. And it's like this, I was just getting so stressed. And then everything with the virus was changing my job. And it just was getting really like hard on me mentally. And it was getting harder to go to work and nothing was making any sense. So by May, I basically like had to quit my job because they weren't like I wasn't getting vacation time as I requested. It was just like, oh, maybe we can give it to you in a couple weeks. And I was like, I need it yesterday. Like I'm not okay, and something is wrong with the world. And it's
were you in like an essential position? Like they didn't want you to take the time off, or were they just trying? Okay.
I worked at a dispensary. So. Yeah, like, you know, we're medical here, but it's just it's a gray area that legally, but so it got weird, you know. It's like we're essential, but we're not essential, but we have to keep going, and you know what I mean. I was like, what? And it was really strange. So yeah, I quit my job to take some time off, and I was like, whatever happens, I'll figure it out. I have some savings, you know what I mean? I was like, I just really need this time. So I started watching documentaries, and at first I was just like digging into Black history because that's what was going on, and I wanted to educate myself. And
issue of the day,
you
right?
know, but the thing is that led me to like, there was one I watched called, I think it was like LA 91 or 92 or something. It's the Rodney King.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so we have a public execution, we have a mainstream narrative, we have people looting and destruction, and an election year. I was like, that sounds very familiar. Yes. And then I was like, so this happens all the time, like clockwork, you say. And the wheel started turning, and I was like, where's the money going? You know, and then I started people on TikTok kind of whispering about that. I started noticing that their accounts were getting taken down, and people were like, nobody wants you to talk about this. And then there was this guy I found through like conspiracy TikToks that was like, it goes to Soros, like everything has to do with this and this, and it's going to the wrong people. And BLM Incorporated is like some totally different entity. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I got started on that, and I was just like, and it just sort of was like a domino effect because I'm already into other conspiracies. Like, you know, I'm already open to aliens and space and some of the lies in the world. So the rest just kind of came after I started watching like Out of Shadows and Fall Cabal type stuff. And I watched a ton of Ancient Aliens, and I was just like, so they've been editing our history like forever. And I've been trying to look at the whole picture and thinking of, how things are going on in terms of like how this stuff that happened a long time ago would affect us now. If we were built in this like backwards world that's suppressing us, and you have someone that comes along that wants to undo it, what are they going to do to that person, and how would you go about it? You know what I mean? You'd have to kind of like basically be a double agent. You'd have to have a lot of money. You'd have to be like Batman. And their what's the word? Strategy is infiltration, not invasion. And that is true since like the beginning of time. Mm-hmm. That is something that's been going on for a really long time. And that's their game. So you have to sort of play the same game. So I started to think of like Trump in terms of this person who was, might not be well liked for different reasons than I suspected. And I just was like, maybe I really should just learn more about him, and for me, it was troubling because obviously I hated him so much, and I wanted him to be the scapegoat. We all want to blame someone, and the crazy thing is like, he obviously knows that, and he just takes it, which is like wild. Mm-hmm. But so I was like, okay, it was hard to come to terms with, and I like meditated a lot, I consider myself semi-spiritual, or I at least take like a small amount of time in my day to just like sit, breathe, think about things. But I ended up trying to like sort of pray, meditate on letting go of anger so that I could see things better. And that was really big for me. That's kind of what helped me look at things with a different perspective and be like, okay, if I let go of this hate and anger, what do I see? Like, how do I see this person? If I didn't hate them, what would I think? So I had to like look at all the things he's done. I found clips of him talking about going against human trafficking, and then everything. I was learning things about Epstein, and I was like, so this is a thing. And I like to recommend Patriot Act by Hassan Minhaj too, because he helped me realize that the news was fake, and he points out that a lot of the big corporations buy the news and use it to cover up pedophilia. That's a pretty common thing, and that's been going on for a really long time. Because when a bunch of rich people outside of the government, outside of the law, own all these main branches, like they can do anything. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it took a month or two really of just kind of putting some pieces together, but eventually, I got to this point where I was like, I think he might be helping, and I was like, that's a really weird thing for me to say. Yeah, I was like, whoa. So it took some time, and I had to be like, okay, and I just sort of led up to it without saying it in TikToks, and then eventually was just like, I got this one that was like a question kind of comment, and that's the one that went viral. And I just sort of like did that spur of the moment in the car kind of thing. It just happened. Somebody picked it up, and on TikTok it's still up, surprisingly, even though I'm getting censored like crazy. But the original viral video is still up, still over 1 million, and on Twitter it had well over 1 million too. So it was just the whole thing was like mind blowing. I was like, I didn't think that like me changing my mind would be that big of a deal. I didn't think I had much to lose. I don't go out much. I don't have like a big circle of friends or anything like that. And you know what I mean? I was just like, right. You know what? It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Because like no one else, I don't have a lot of people calling me every day or seeing what's up. And I haven't talked to my protest friends in a while. And I was like, I'm just doing me. I'm just going to say it. I had a small following of like 700 on Twitter. And by the end of the day, I had like 22,000. And I was like, what just happened? And like, I could barely comprehend it. It was just, so, I had drama ensued, and a couple people came forward, like, what's wrong with you kind of thing. And, there's a couple changes to the people in my life, but like, honestly, nothing that has affected me like in a major way, except for reconciling with my mom, because she already knew a bunch of these things, and she's like, I just felt like we couldn't talk about it anymore. And I was like, so
your mom was already like keyed into all this stuff, and you guys there was a rift?
Not all of it, but yeah, there was a rift. We weren't speaking a whole lot. It's because she knew about Hillary and some other things.
Yeah.
And it's obviously like hard to talk about, but the thing is, she's also really into like spiritual stuff. Mm-hmm. So she knows a lot about like the ancient history and like ancient alien type stuff. On the other hand, she didn't really know about the dark cult things. So we sort of like filled each other in on different aspects. It seems like we had different pieces to the puzzle, but we've been able to, discuss and finally have a bunch of stuff to talk about. So that's been nice.
How awesome is that?
Yeah, it's
that
really
is so cool.
That's the best thing that came out of it. So
for a lot of people, I mean, we often talk about the silent majority, okay? The idea that there are so many people out there who do support President Trump, but because of the treatment that Trump supporters have received in the media, at their places of business, rift with family members, people are afraid to come out and talk about it. So I'm glad to hear that wasn't something that you were terribly worried about, this like paradigm smash for your personal and your professional life. But you don't often hear about situations like this where maybe people came back together after having a rift because of President Trump. So, and you kind of answered my next question. So your following really developed in the wake of that one first video. So before that, were you making videos regularly? Or was it just something that you did on occasion?
It was very rare. I mean, my Twitter for a minute was like purely music based. I was just using it to do like my little SoundCloud stuff, and some of my music it's not that awesome, but I am working on it, and I'm about to put something out that is completely unlike anything I've made, and I'm really excited about it. But cool. Side note, yeah, it wasn't anything special, and I had, like I said, I had a small following on Instagram. Even it was just personal account. I wasn't doing anything. I just started making more TikToks, and I had before on TikTok it was like 3,000 maybe was what I was doing already, and then I started talking about like conspiracies and doing all those things, and then I dropped that one and I went up to like 43,000. Wow. And but then everyone's been telling me I'm so shadow banned. Like you can't. I woke up this morning and like 6 of my videos were pulled. I've like 2 of them I had made appeals for and gotten them back already, and they took them away again for the second time. And even the ones that I repost, obviously they notice that they get taken down regardless. So like I know people have their bones to pick about TikTok, but to me it's like a digital battleground, and this just makes me feel like I like need to be on there for a little bit to try and get through to people. For the people who are watching, it's a tool for me right now. It's just, you know what I mean? The videos platform is easy for me to understand, to like edit things.
Sure. I mean, it's very like now, like this modern young generation, the format of TikTok, very short clips of videos, you can pack a lot of information into that, and people spread them like wildfire, Yeah. So, I mean, let's talk about the censorship, because I mean, you did just get your Twitter deleted. You were just mentioning you've had multiple videos removed on TikTok. What kinds of videos are they removing on TikTok? Because the stuff that I've heard about getting removed is, videos that are critical of the Chinese Communist Party, because it is a Chinese company.
Yeah, well, that's what's interesting is I was literally just talking about that this morning. I ended up looking at TikTok and then making a TikTok about what they had pulled down. So I did that. So I noticed they took down my Great Awakening poster explanation.
Okay.
They took down me celebrating myself and talking about like it was like I had this sort of skit conversation with myself. Mm-hmm. And in the beginning I mentioned it's been this much time since we started going viral for saying Trump might actually be helping people. Like that's the first sentence that comes out. So I think they caught that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's the only thing I can figure is they just were like listening for buzzwords or something. Or people are tagging me and just reporting stuff, and you know what I mean? Yeah. And then there was one I did on the history of Disney, got pulled.
Really?
Yep.
Very interesting. It's good point to mention that Disney and the CCP are partners with their Shanghai Disney venture. So maybe that's why.
It's a lot of things. And then what else? Oh, the what's wrong with Planned Parenthood got pulled.
That's a big one.
Yep. anything kind of conspiracy related. I made one that was simply just a text post on how I was shadow banned because of talking about conspiracy theories. Got pulled. And I was just like, this is ridiculous. Like, oh, all right. But I just have to laugh and try to move on because I can't, you know what I mean? It's going to happen. This happens to everyone. I can't focus on it too heavily. So I just, the day I found out my Twitter was suspended, I just made a new one and I just make new TikToks or repost them. I'm like, whatever, you know what I mean? Cause like, again, I can't get too caught up and cry about it or whatever. It's just like, this is what happens. We got to go. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Now, several people in the chat are asking about your new Twitter and your social media profiles. Also, my boy Woke Societies is in the chat. What's up, Woke? And my mom, love you, Mom, and Real Red Pill Girlfriend's out there too. All of the mods, I love all you. But the link I just dropped is for Judith's Linktree. You can go to judithrose.co, or you can follow that link right there. It's tr.ee/Judith.Rose, but judithrose.co is way easier.
That's
easier to remember.
The domain thing. It just obviously it's just a front door for my link tree when you go there, but it's way easier to type in.
Right. So you've got an Ask Me Anything. I'm not specifically familiar with that is. I mean, is that literally just a platform where you can ask a question and then you'll answer it?
Yeah, it's a Curious Cat. You can ask things anonymously if you want to.
Okay.
And so I did that initially because I knew that people were going to troll and I was just giving them a place to like rant because I don't have to answer them. But if you want to get it off your chest, feel free and I'll delete it.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
My way of trolling the trolls. You can say what you want, but it doesn't mean I'll respond.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to be, laissez-faire about it. I mean, like it's inevitable. It's going to come with the territory. So you said that you had gotten some calls from some people. Were those people that were part of your protest circle, or was it, longtime family, longtime friends?
There was like one protest friend, one ex-coworker. I didn't get a swarm of negativity personally. And the positivity far outweighs the negativity, especially now. I just get like really surface level stuff where they're just like, call me stupid or crazy or say something about how I look. And that's the lowest tier of argument. So it's easy to ignore. So, but yeah, the worst part was like one of my friends would just like tried to say some really mean stuff about my personal life and use it against me. And I was like, it's really mean, but, I understand, you're upset and you're in a bad place. So love you. Bye. Like just had to just take the high road and like not respond and just be like, all right, I'm gonna go. And it was a lot of other things that I'm dealing with. I'm just not responding because I don't want to like get into it right now.
Sure.
And with certain people in my life, it's like I don't have anything nice to say to you because you're not saying nice things to me, so I'm not going to respond to you. And they want to try to throw that in my face that I'm being disrespectful, but I'm like, I just don't want to fight right now. I'm good. So I'd rather say nothing. There's going to be times where I might be feeling sassy or I see someone talking about me in the comments and I'm like, hey, I'm right here. But that's it. Sometimes I just want to make people think, but if it gets too like personal and too hard for me, I can pretty easily recognize it and just be like, I'm good.
It's pretty amazing that you're like at that point already. There's a lot of toxicity online and unfortunately it is just virulent from the left. Now, the right is not immune, okay? There is plenty of toxicity on the right as well.
We're seeing a little bit.
Yeah, but
not nearly as much, to be honest.
Say that again?
So not nearly as much, though, as I expected.
Yeah, not well, and that's the thing. There is this perception, right-wing trolls, Russian bots.
Everyone's a Nazi.
Yes, everybody's a Nazi, but unfortunately, I mean, all like the majority of ad hominem attacks, personal character attacks, that's coming from the left. I mean, and they're stuck in this echo chamber where they think they know the truth, but all they know is the talking points that they've been given by the mainstream media or by their friends. Trump is literally Hitler, and that's all that they know. So what was that like, finding out how different it truly was on the right compared to perhaps what you'd been told.
I mean, on so many levels, it was like kind of infuriating because I was like, everyone's so nice. Are you kidding me? Like, this is because when you realize how big of a lie it is, you're just like, it's hard to put into words because you just feel like cheated and betrayed, and you're just like, this whole time I could have just not been this angry and just like had more friends and like, you know what I mean? But there's just so much division right now. That's the problem. But when I started receiving this group, I don't know, energy, love from people, all the things that started happening, I was just like, this is how it could be. You know what I mean? We could have respectful conversations. We can agree to disagree and civil discourse. Like, this is how it feels like it's supposed to be. And, every once in a while I get, some stupid comment, and it tends to be from some bot account or some account that's like clearly left leaning, or, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, oh man, it's like, you just finally see, like, a lot of this stuff just lifts off your eyes, and it's upsetting. Like I said, it's just that I was like, what, just that feeling of like, oh, well, gosh darn.
Right.
No, like, it's frustrating, but also like pleasantly surprising to realize that most of the image of people that I was made to believe were all crazy Nazis or whatever are actually just people trying to get through to the world, who are trying to unite over, things that they can agree on, the main issues, ending human trafficking, So I was just like, how can you not be behind that? Once I figured it all out, I was like, these people are harmless. Like, they're just talking online. And you know what I mean? So, and then they get pulled down for what? Like posting a picture of, something people don't like to look at, like, basically. So it got bizarre really quick. I was like, oh, just that sinking feeling of like, oh, this is what we're doing. This is crazy. I didn't know, and it all just like swarmed over me. And for a while, people were like, are you okay? You're absorbing a lot of information really fast. And I was like, for some reason, I'm fine. Like, it just started to make things make sense. And it was a huge sense of relief, really, and feeling clear-headed and stuff, and then getting all called crazy and being like, actually, no, I feel pretty good. Like, yeah. I feel all right, even though everything's crazy and dark and strange. It's better knowing than not knowing.
Absolutely. Your point about civil discourse is something that I talk about quite often on the channel. I always say that we're not at war with the people on the left. What we're at war with is an ideology and these systems of control that are essentially destroying everyone's lives. It's not just the people on the right, it's the people on the left. They are just under a spell and they don't realize it. So, unfortunately, too often, what happens is the people on the left and the right, they both have preconceived notions of, who they are and what they represent. But the people on the right are willing to have a conversation. And unfortunately, the people on the left, because they've been told that the people on the right are all Nazis or fascists, they don't want to talk about it. Now, have you been trying to use your platform to kind of bridge that gap? Be, maybe a conduit between these two sides? Because, you're uniquely positioned, as like a young person, somebody who recently woke up and discovered all this information. And, obviously people look at you, they don't think, average conservative. You got green hair, you're a young person, you got your gauges in, but even me, I don't think people look at me and necessarily say that I'm, a conservative off the bat. But that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, is so that I can use this as a springboard to basically, bridge the gap. Are you thinking about it like that, or is it just simply broadcasting the message and hoping that whoever picks it up is smart enough to receive it?
Well, this is definitely something I think I'm asked, in multiple ways, kind of a lot. But for me, I've been advising people to just be a little more passive with it because of the the explosive nature of things right now. We have to be, careful, understanding, compassionate, forgiving with each other. And I just like to make information available to people and not shove it in their face.
Good.
I'm not out here like handing people digital flyers. You know what I mean? I'm just posting things to my Instagram. You can follow if you want or not. That's your choice. You know what I mean? This is all about like personal choice. I had to choose to get to this point as well. So I'm hoping that the people that have been following me can see that like I did, I made this choice, and I hope it makes people curious. I hope people are like, wow, why did that happen? And more often I'm trying to post videos of like, hey, I voted for Obama twice and Hillary, and now I think I want to vote for Trump. I'm pretty sure I'm voting for Trump. Do you want to know why?
I love that.
And so I made a little like infographic kind of video the other day that it goes by a little fast, but it's for people on TikTok. The pause feature is pretty big. You pause it so you can read it, and then you play it, and then it gives it like rewatch value, or like it gives people a second to think about what they're reading, to research what they're reading, and then consume the whole video. So I made this video that was like, I thought I hated Trump because, until I found out, and then just like filled in things here and here, and it went pretty well. But it's hard to, throw out a whole bunch of information to people. So I made like pretty basic points. And obviously there's still some people that weren't happy with it, and I have to occasionally go into the comments and like brush away the dirt. Sure. But because there's just some things people aren't going to fully accept, like Trump is the last roadblock for a lot of people. I noticed there's definitely some people that are starting to understand that there's a shadow government, something's wrong here, but a lot of them still are like, well, Trump is part of it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, right. I don't know if he is, though. If you look at what he's doing, like, they're all in trouble. Yeah. If he was part of it, he'd be going down with the ship, most likely, unless he made some kind of deal, in which case, we're all screwed, right? Yeah. So why would you want to believe that? I don't know. So I'd rather be hopeful, even if that's silly. You know what I mean?
I don't think it is. I appreciate the way that you put out the information. It was kind of a loaded question. I wanted you to talk about it. But, have you had people people on the left, or that consider themselves to be on the left, have you had anyone reach out to you and say, I'm really starting to think about this stuff differently because of who you are and what you've said?
Just, I would say a small handful of people that I know. I think I changed like a few minds, not one in particular, but she was still kind of stuck on not trusting Trump. And I was like, I'm not going to, sit here and try to change your mind. I understand. You just learn more, maybe. I don't know. It's hard for some people. But she did see a lot of the other things. And that was important too, because a lot of people, they get there eventually. So you just got to take your time. I've had a lot of strangers say that I helped them on TikTok, which is really cool. People say, hey, I found you like a month or two ago. You helped me see this and this. And, I'm in the same boat. Like I'm starting to hear that a lot more. Like, same thing. Yeah, I was a Democrat. I totally get it, which is awesome. And then I had a couple of friends that like were already there and I didn't know. That kind of thing, where they were like, okay, great. Yeah, now we can like be better friends. So I was like, oh, like I said, all of it was a mostly pleasant surprise. Overall, it's been great.
Good stuff. Just need to say thank you to Daniel on Cash App. He said, thank you for all your hard work. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate you supporting the show, buddy. And then actually, after I got off the air last night, I realized that I had two people that I hadn't thanked. It was they came through while I was in the tail end of the show. But today, Wayne, thank you very much. Elise said, have a great show tonight. Keep saving the children. Excellent. Appreciate you, Elise. Tina, thank you as well. Michael says, thank you for all you do. I enjoy your broadcasts. I enjoy doing them, Michael, so I'm glad that you're feeling them. Also, thank you to Camille. Camille, thank you very much for that very generous donation. And then, real quick, the ones that came through last night. Doug Doug, I'm sorry, you had a question for my guest from last night. How about helping Julian Assange? I will ask Cyrus about that. And then Stephen wanted to know what my daily discipline and spiritual practices are. I pray every morning first thing when I wake up. And I've got a routine, but I'm not going to go into my specific routine because it's personal to me. But yeah, so with the upcoming election, are you seeing a difference, like, in the real world? I mean, the world's kind of opened up, you know? I mean, it's not as much of a lockdown as it was before. Are you getting out and having the opportunity to see things happening out in the real world, or are you still stuck inside for the most part?
I don't really go out much. Mostly just to do what I need to do. Occasionally we try to go out into some nature spot for like a walk or something.
Beautiful.
Lately we'll start our day just by walking down by the canal before it's reached 100 degrees, you know, when it's a cool 90 degrees Fahrenheit when you wake up. It's perfect walking weather. But you do what you can when it's this hot out here. So in general, like, it's been kind of hit or miss. Like, I don't know, one day that I'll try to go to a restaurant and it'll be closed at a weird time, and then I go back and it's open again. And there's still some spots that require a mask for entry. So, you know,
Yeah.
but I'm noticing people sort of like getting tired of it, you know? But in general, yeah, I don't really like experience it a whole lot more than I have to at this point, because I'm focused on here and now, making content and talking to people and doing things at home for the most part.
Good stuff. So I mentioned that you had gotten your Twitter deleted the other day.
Yeah.
There's been a massive purge of anybody, you know, talking about this movement, talking about, I always say our favorite Anon because it's a movement of Anons, you know, but he's the number one Anon. But, you know, they have been ruthless about it, you know, just taking people out without giving them any reason. Were you given any type of a warning or a reason before they deleted you?
No, none whatsoever. And I can't find people usually get an initial email from support saying your account's been suspended. And I searched for it and I haven't been able to find it. And then whenever I search for like anything at all that comes up is like the appeals that I've made. And they say, hey, we got your appeal and it looks like it's going to go with these other ones. So let us know if you have any other information. And I got
just file it away.
Yeah, no warning whatsoever. And I just woke up to not being able to respond to a tweet. I was like going to go just start tweeting and it was just like, your account's been suspended. And I got a little window and was like, there it is, you know, just like, I didn't think it would happen that soon. So I was like, you know, and I had to just like, woosah, like, all right, okay, first suspension. So it was bound to happen. You know, so I was like, you know, I just had to calm myself down. I was like, I'm a little upset, but I don't have enough right to be that upset because this is a badge. This is an initiation for me. You know what I mean?
You're over the target.
Yeah, that's what they say. So I was like, okay, all right, okay. I'm just going to make another one. I'm just going to make another one and keep moving, even though I lost, you know, basically 2 accounts because I had that sub account under that. And they didn't even let me have that. So it was just like my whole account in general.
Oh, everything. So, I mean, what did you do to make sure that you're going to be able to skirt the ban?
I don't know. I made a new email. I'm not very good at this. Just going to keep going.
My OPSEC sucks. Operational security.
It does. It fully sucks. So, you know, I'm just sort of out here. I'm just like, I know y'all can see me. Mm-hmm. Do I care? Not really. So that's just where I'm at. I'm just like, let me live. Yeah. So like, that's how I feel. I'm just like, and you know, depending on how soon things get off the ground for me, you know, a location change could be in order, a new phone could be in order, but it all depends on and whether or not I can make this work, which I will. It'll be fine. But I'm at that transitional point where I'm like, okay, here we go. You know, things are changing and I'm trying to just build my life from scratch kind of thing and do it myself. So,
well, let's talk about what that looks like. I mean, what's the next phase? I mean, what are you planning on here?
Yeah, well, I am releasing a new song next month, and I don't have the release date just yet. I am working on it with someone else, so I'm not at liberty to discuss too much. But we will have a promo going very soon. And I was also talking to a friend about a merch design, possibly getting out some t-shirts and mugs, just some simple things to get myself off the ground and keep my lights on and such. And then raise money to work on my album and things like that, hopefully in the future, so that I can, produce some nicer music. And basically, yeah, my ultimate dream goal, if we're, talking like 5 years in the future or whatever, I'm looking to get land and build like an earth-friendly home, like an earth bag home, or just a tiny home.
Like an earth ship?
No,
like
that's
tires?
Yeah,
that's so
ultimately, cool. That's like the retirement home I want is like a big earth ship with like an indoor garden and like.
I mean, Arizona's the place for it too,
Oh yeah, like solar power. I want to get off the grid. I want to grow things, but also still be like plugged in to like my own internet, where I'm private and everything. But it's just stuff I got to work on, things that'll happen in time. But yeah, currently I am interested in starting my own business and kind of making my life my brand basically, and doing it like a lot of creators do, and not being my own boss is the most important thing. That's what I want. So.
Well, I think you can do it, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. Now, just in case people in the audience don't know what an earthship is, an earthship is an ecologically sustainable home which is built from recyclable materials and, dirt basically, and all of this stuff, and you position it specifically so that you get maximum light from the sun. It essentially heats and cools itself, and it's very limited in terms of the technology that's in it. I mean, the actual technology to make the earthship, it's quite advanced, because you got to do it in the right way. If you don't do it the right way, it's not going to get cool. It's not going to stay warm when you need it to. And you can basically set it up so that, like, you take a shower and that runoff goes in to feed your plants in your garden. And the whole thing is, moving around and sustainable. It's pretty awesome. And here are some excellent examples of earthships. That you have, like, wine bottles and stuff that they use. It's like Adobe. They're so cool. I've been wanting to build an earthship for decades. Okay, this would be my dream here. And
my boyfriend and I got a book for it with all these instructions and things, and I also have blueprints to a tiny home. So like we're kind of set on both ends depending on where we want to start. But yeah, that's the goal. I'd love to like reduce my footprint and live a little more in balance with the earth itself.
You can build the tiny home and then live in the tiny home while you're building the earthship. I mean, that would be the way to go.
That's pretty much what I would think.
I couldn't do it like with all of my, like, I gotta have a studio, I mean, yeah, you would have to make the whole thing your studio if you're going to be making videos.
I know. Yeah, I have this one design that I like where I could have like basically a little mini closet. But we'll see. But yeah, I tell people sometimes, I don't want a mansion or a fancy car. Like, I just want my own little piece of quiet, and just, you know what I mean? Like,
I can totally relate to that.
Because I used to clean houses, and I've cleaned mansions, and I don't want them. They're too much work.
Yeah. No, this would be the best way to do it. Real Red Pill Girlfriend and I, we totally watch videos of earthship homes like every time we're together. So, this is exactly the same type of thing I want to do too. And it's basically what everybody wants. I mean, everybody, they want a place to call their own. They want to be left alone, to be autonomous and not hurt other people. Do things in balance. Nobody wants to use too much. Nobody wants to take advantage of anybody. But the society that they have made for us today, and the programming that they've imprinted upon us is, it's funny because it preaches that, but in reality, it's completely antithetical to that. I mean, they've created this ultra selfish, narcissistic society, and and very cruel.
Really dependent.
Yeah.
What's
the cat's name? What's your cat's name again?
Oh, sorry, that's Mo.
Mo?
People call him my familiar. He basically is. He knows when I'm upset, and he knows when I'm busy, and he needs attention.
We've got many people in the audience who, hold on, Leftist in the chat, handle with care, Patriots. Dion, are you saying that you are a leftist, or are you saying there are leftists in the chat? I don't know. Sometimes there are trolls in the chat. Always, you know. I mean, there's always somebody who shows up. But even if, what's that?
So I wish I could see the chat.
Oh, well, if you open up, you know, the YouTube link, like from Twitter or whatever, then you can pop out the chat and put it on your screen, and then just make sure you mute the video and then minimize it, and then you'll be able to see it along with us. There's loads. Well, this is interesting, Q-Rabbit. We've got loads of leftists in the chat. You know what? A view's a view, to be quite honest with you. So I appreciate you guys stopping by. But have you had people like that you don't know, leftists that you don't know, attacking you for, you know, opening your eyes and changing your views?
Yeah, I had someone today kind of weave like a threat basically, and I didn't, you know, all I did was what I usually do, and I just blocked them and deleted it. But it was something along the lines of like, you won't be known after I expose you for this, and I was like, huh. Yeah. You know, so I was like, I mean, people already know me. I don't know what you're talking about. So
right.
Yeah,
So
it was, you know, it came off kind of threatening, and I was like, That's kind of the first one I've gotten that's like that, except for the people who said they wanted to shave my head in the beginning. It's fine. I'm cool. And even if they did, I'd just buy wigs. I don't care.
Yeah.
Wigs are cool. Wigs are fine. So I'm just, you know, I already know that I have to do my best not to let people get to me. It's not important. It's not worth it. But if it gets too serious, I obviously have like a backup plan. So.
Well, I mean, obviously you have to protect yourself, but never forget. I mean, I feel like you're on the right path anyways. I mean, you have the correct attitude about it. It was difficult for me when I first started because I have a fairly solitary life. You know, I have some very key people in my life, you know, family, my girlfriend, but that's really it. You know, I mean, like, because of work, you know, I work alone, I worked at home, so I wasn't around a bunch of people all the time. And I already had a negative experience coming out as a supporter of President Trump. In 2016, I had a web design company, and after he won, I was like, wow, okay, there are people who like Donald Trump. It's not just me. And, you know, I was openly supportive of him. And I lost all of my clients in like in about a week. Everybody transferred their websites off of my server, and I had to close the company. You know, it's okay though, because it allowed me to do what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
And you know, I had like a period where I had to reinvent myself.
I don't know why.
It's like, let me on your neck, Mom. So I had to reinvent myself, you know, but I mean, it, you know, showed me that it's not always necessarily safe in certain circles to come out and openly support the president. And if anything, it's gotten more virulent and aggressive. You know, I mean, people, there are no Donald Trump signs in my neighborhood. I would be the only one with a Donald Trump sign. And the only other person who isn't like a total leftist is this guy who's a libertarian. And the dogs and I walk by his house every day. He's cool. I talk to him. But I mean, I talk to everybody. I just don't talk politics with everybody, you know. Yeah. But, you know, I mean, there is nobody wants to be put in a situation where their life is going to be threatened. I mean, I can't imagine a single person who is a supporter of Donald Trump threatening the life of someone who's going to vote for Joe Biden. Maybe they would laugh, you know. I mean, you know, it's not a very intelligent thing to do to vote for Joe Biden or the Dems at this point, but nobody is going to threaten lives. Now, have you had the opportunity to go to any, like, you know, other rallies, you know, for right-wing causes, like maybe in the Save the Children rallies, or have there been any gatherings of people? I know that there are Q people there in Arizona.
Yeah, no, none that I am involved with, because I'm not a part of Facebook. I uninstalled my neighborhood app because it started to get really ridiculous, and like people fight on there too, you know, about politics and stuff. Yeah. So, and then not to mention like the false flag rally in Chicago. There's just a lot of things that have made me feel like not safe going out physically. Sure. Because you never know who could hear about the rally and like hijack it or infiltrate it or, do something if you're just out there talking about it. So I've been, you know what I mean? It's just keeping to myself and talking to people digitally because I'm just not ready for that yet. I'm still really nervous. There's a lot of chaos out there. And I'm also been so swamped with everything going on with me. I've had no time to like organize or anything. I'm very overwhelmed. So I told someone before, like, I'd love to go to something that I'm invited to if I feel safe about it. But, you know what I mean? I wouldn't go alone. And, I'd just be very cautious because of what just happened, especially in Chicago. They had people saying "Save our children," but then underneath that, it was like Antifa and
Right.
abolish ICE.
I saw the pictures.
They
Yeah.
just sort of like then they dressed in black, and they're just they're trying to make the movement look bad and like.
Well, I saw a flyer actually organizing people to specifically do that. Show up in your gear with, 17th letter of the alphabet, all your MAGA hats. And then they were going to do something specifically to make it appear as if supporters of the president, people in this movement, would be violent or, but I mean, it really does seem to me at this point, a majority of the country is well aware of the fact that this is a peaceful movement. This is about freedom. This is about liberty. And they know that the alternative, which is, the Black Bloc Brigade, they are the ones who are violent, And what's your opinion? And because this is obviously this is a current issue, the rioting and the looting. Many people on the left and the right are upset about the rioting and the looting, but maybe for different reasons. I think that people on the right who are angry about what's going on, perhaps, there's a certain, segment that is upset that President Trump hasn't done something about it. He hasn't stepped in, even though it's not a federal issue, it's a state issue. He hasn't stepped in, and perhaps they see that as a weakness. What do you see happening with these riots and these looting? Because let's be honest, the places where it's happening are in Democrat-controlled areas. You've got mayors like Ted Wheeler of Portland. He's a Democrat. He's allowing it to happen. You've got, governors of places, in Washington and whatnot. Those are the spots. Those are the hot spots. What do you see when you see that stuff happening?
Well, I know there's a lot of like desperate, hurt people that think that they're owed something because they're suffering and maybe they've lost their jobs and they just like genuinely feel like they need it, or they're just being spiteful because they feel let down over and over and over. So a lot of people get to this breaking point where they're just like, screw it, like I'm going to take this because the system hasn't done me any favors so far. And, that cop killed my brother. I don't care anymore. I think that they're very like lost and they feel like they're owed something. And sometimes I can almost understand how you get to that point, but it doesn't make it okay, and there's business owners that are closing down their shops that don't deserve it.
Or having them destroyed too.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like having to close their shops because of destruction. And, it's like, so, like I said.
Oh, Judith.
They feel.
You froze for a second. I was like, we lost her.
I was going to say, it's just hard when you can tell that people, like I said, are like suffering and they're doing this, because they feel like they should, they have to, they want to, they don't care anymore. And I'm trying to be understanding of more people. And I know that it looks like all Democrats are evil and all Republicans aren't, but there's good and evil in everyone and in both sides.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So the people on both sides are going to go down. And so that's the thing is like, we're so divided. And I just want people to stop thinking it necessarily in terms of left and right, because we have to just sort of look through that and see what they're really doing. And think of it as like a human standpoint. Like, is this okay? Not really. Who is it affecting and who is it not affecting? And so Donald Trump can't do everything.
Exactly.
What I mean? He's one man. And he's doing a whole lot right now to like combat big pharma, and he's put legislation into work about combating human trafficking, and there's like only so much he can do. He can't personally go down there and like stand in front of a business and be like, stop that. You know what I mean? So the problem is like, I'm sure he feels maybe conflicted about wanting to fight fire with fire, because like, how do you stop violence? You know,
Well,
how do you...
whatever he would do, if he was to just send in the National Guard, you know, he's offered, he said, if you want help, then we'll give you the help. But if he was to just do it, then they would have their fascist narrative proven correct, and they would be able to use it against him.
Yeah. It's a difficult place to be in, for sure. Like, you know, and again, I've been trying to put myself in multiple positions and just ask myself what I would do, you know, whether I'm looking at it from the evil standpoint or from the president's standpoint. And it's like that. I think more people should ask themselves that when they're in that position, because it's like, no matter what he does, there are people that are going to be unhappy with it. There are people that are going to spin it to their own way. There are people that are going to think of it one way and just take it and run with it, like you said. Just, it's tricky, very, very, very tricky.
Nothing is as black and white as many people would have you believe. I mean, it's all shades of gray. There are so many different things that have to be considered. Every single decision that President Trump makes, you know, it doesn't matter where it is, it's going to be, you know, picked apart, and he has to oftentimes choose the less worst thing, you know, out of a series of bad choices that you can make. But, you know, I mean, for me, you know, when I initially started looking at Donald Trump, you know, and I was already disillusioned with the political system, you know, like I had previously voted for Barack Obama. I saw that was clearly a farce, and then I voted for Ron Paul, and, you know, there was no way he was even going to be elected. So, you know, it was just, I felt like it was a waste. And then after Barack Obama was there for a second term, you know, and he didn't do anything again, I was absolutely convinced that there was no hope. There was no saving it. And I was in a very, very dark place myself. And so then President Trump, you know, he comes around and, you know, he comes on the scene. And the only thing that I knew for certain was that every person and every agency, every, bureaucracy that was in power that I knew was evil definitely hated Donald Trump. And I thought to myself, why would that be? Well, you know, I mean, you look at all of these other political candidates, you look at all of these other people who clearly are breaking the law, who are destroying America, who are taking advantage of our, you know, our citizens, our natural resources. They're selling us out to China, Mexico, anything but helping the citizens of this country. And I said, you know, that really makes me think that Donald Trump is probably a good person, you know? I mean, because if he was like all of them, then they would just, you know, let it roll, you know, no big deal. And they were so thick with the propaganda for Hillary Clinton. And I said, I can tell you another thing I know, Hillary Clinton is the devil incarnate. You know, there's absolutely no doubt in my mind. She is the most evil person to ever walk the face of this earth.
I didn't know.
Yeah. No, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, what was your opinion of Hillary Clinton, you know, prior to this? I mean, like, did you look to her as like an older female icon?
Yeah, absolutely. I was just like, you know, I was just like, yeah, first female president.
I'm
like,
with her.
That was the best idea, you know, because the illusion that is presented, you know, is obviously, it's a nice fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice story. But I didn't know any of the behind the scenes information. And then once I got to the WikiLeaks, I finally understood the whole thing about her emails. I mean, everything. It took me some time. I mean, you know, sometimes I'm like a little embarrassed about it because I consider myself a smart person, but here I am now. It's okay. But yeah, I really didn't know. So once that all came up and I came to terms with like the whole Podesta thing, and I figured out that like their main argument was the whole there is no basement thing, and that was easily disprovable. Yeah. And there's at least conflicting information about it. You know what I mean? And I was like, okay, so that's not necessarily true. So, and then I watched like a video on young Pharaoh doing a whole bit on like how the Democrats were treasonous. He has like this whole video on people who have died near the Clintons, and
Oh yes, yeah.
I just was like, oh my God, and then again, I talked to my mom about it, and she, filled me in on some stuff too. And there's just a really long list. There's not even like a real number out there because we don't even know. We only know some of them. I've heard 45. I've heard 95. You know what I mean? I'm just like, how many people can you have near you that commit suicide?
Oh yeah, yeah, and in strange and interesting ways too.
Yeah, in 3-foot pools.
Right, exactly.
I was like, no.
This is why I always tell people to be kind to people online or in life, because we have an opportunity to bridge that gap and to educate somebody. It's not your fault. You were brainwashed. We were all brainwashed at some point, and there was something that woke us up and allowed us to start opening our minds into seeing the world in a different way, and to get the information and to start really seeking out the truth for ourselves. You guys, I'm opening up the phone lines. I know there are a bunch of people out there that are going to have questions for Judith. I dropped the Zoom link into the chat. I'm going to drop it one more time. And then if you take a look on the screen up here, lower corner right there, there's the phone number. There's also a meeting ID and a passcode. Judith, somebody in the chat was asking if you have a Cash App, and I was going to say, yes, you do. I'm going to go ahead and drop Judith's Cash App code. And if you have Cash App, you just do $HeyJude55. That is it right there. Mods, if you want to grab that and help us out, and people want to support you. So definitely, that's something you should add to your link tree so people can get easy access. Is it? Okay.
It's like a little icon on the bottom. It's just a little money sign.
Also, we had a donation from Walter. Walter says, hey, Judith, I saw your interview with Charlie Ward. And other people are asking about this interview with Charlie Ward. What can you tell us?
Oh, so here's the thing. Since I'm so new to the community, there's a lot of people that I just don't know a whole lot about yet. But I've been trusting my gut so far as when it comes to like who I'm speaking to and everything. And he seems like a man who knows a whole lot. And he was extremely sweet, and we had a very nice conversation.
Is Charlie Ward that British gentleman?
Yeah.
Okay. I've only heard of him very recently. But yes, okay.
Yeah. Same thing. So, and again, I've just been following my gut. I feel like I meet people for a reason. So I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? You know what I mean? I like to see for myself and, approach people with kindness and just see how it goes. And again, we had a really good talk about what's going on in my journey. And he has a lot of hope for the future, and he seems to know some things that other people don't know. Mm-hmm. So we had a good conversation about that.
Okay, good stuff. Walter also said, love your show, keep it up. So thank you, Walter. Bruce, is Michelle Obama seriously a trans? Seriously.
Oh.
You know what? I mean, I'll tell you what. I don't think that there's a single... Yeah, there's not a single person here who can answer that with 100% certainty. However, I would point to photographic evidence, and there's also video evidence, which makes me think that it's highly, highly probable. I do believe. All right,
I do not have a problem with trans people. I have a problem with lies and deception.
That's it. That's the thing.
I always try to make it clear that I'm anti-hate.
Yeah.
I just believe, people have a right to be happy, and I just have a big problem with the lie part of it all. It could have been fine, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, so Shaunanon, long-time viewer, first-time caller. What's going on, brother? We got to get your microphone on. Oh, no. I see your microphone is working, but I don't hear any audio.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, I can hear you now. Good stuff, dude. Awesome.
Judith.
What's up?
Bravo.
Thank you.
Proud of you.
Took me some time.
Yes. And I just want to assure you, you're gonna. If it's anything like myself, you might go through certain evolution stages.
Yeah.
I feel like in the process, and you might be a little discouraged from time to time. Even red pill gets like that. We all know.
Yeah, it's like
and
that.
It's all good. and it's all good no matter what. But I got a feeling that, you know, victory is inevitable because what they're relying on is the majority of America to be, you know, for the lower IQ side, and this is no offense to anybody, but the more uneducated side for votes.
Mm-hmm.
I would say ignorant, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
Right.
that's exactly it. People who don't know because they've never thought to look, because all they've done is listen to the MSM and the talking heads.
So it's rather insulting if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
But I also feel like you'll eventually gain a sense of confidence. And at least I can say this for myself, and not just with what you think you know, but in all facets. I feel like, you know, it certainly has had that effect on me. I mean, I'm now a homeowner, and hell has officially frozen over with that regard. And so I just wanted to make it quick and say bravo, congratulations.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you, Sean.
Yes, I hope you feel a lot of love and a lot of acceptance. So
I have so far. Yeah, thank you. It's been, like I said, it's been pleasantly surprising.
Good.
And maybe I'm biased, but I think I have the best audience in the world. So, you know.
Understated.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing but love from everybody here on Red Pill 78. All right, Sean, what else is going on, brother? How you doing?
Outstanding. Glorious. But I'll keep it short, brother. I just wanted to say I love you all, and congratulations.
All right. Love you too, brother. Thanks for calling in.
All right. Good night, guys.
Peace. Ooh, that was the wrong button. We'll try this again. All right. Okay, there we go. Lost the chat for a second. All right, we've got 8 people waiting.
What?
We're going with Love by the Moon next. Love by the Moon is going to be our next caller. All right, you guys. Let's see. Hey Jude says, don't confuse her with me.
Oh, well, shout out to the people who have already cashed out me. That's really sweet. I appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you guys are great. Thank you very much for the support. I appreciate it. If you don't see it going by in the chat, got my PayPal and Cash App right there in the lower corner. All right, I don't know where Love by the Moon is. It says she's joining still. So we're going to bring in Erin while her line is connecting. Erin Moriarty from Truth Quest. Erin also happens to be an Elvis impersonator, like for real.
Yes.
What's up, Erin?
Hey, Red Pill. I'm doing great. We had our first rally today, Save the Children.
Yay.
How was it? How was it?
Well, we had 3 people there for most of the time, but then some more people showed up, and I sent you some pictures in your Twitter.
Oh, dude. Let me see if I can get those pulled up. There we are.
This is here in Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin, Door County, one of the top 10 vacation spots in the U.S. We found this corner right by the downtown area. It's a kind of a classic old town downtown area. But Judith, your video on TikTok, it made me cry.
Oh, which one are you talking about?
Your first one.
Oh, okay.
And I love the one you were pointing. I love that one too.
Oh, thank you.
I love all yours. And, you know, seeing someone like you gives people like me hope that people will unplug their TV. You know, I want to start a thing where encourage people to make a piece of art and put it over your TV. And every time you have the urge to watch TV, just watch the piece of art. If you want it to change, make some more art and put it in front of the TV. But it's so encouraging to see a young person like you wake up. My wake up took since the 90s. I mean, I met Bill Clinton, and he signed this shirt twice for me at his request. And I thought he was going to be great, but the bills he was passing were horrible.
Oh no.
And that's when it started for me. And it's like, I grew up in a very democratic household.
Yeah.
I thought my grandma was going to run for president.
What?
Yeah, because she was very involved in the DFL, Democratic Farm Labor in Minnesota. But yeah, and I didn't vote for Trump. I voted for Andrew Basiago.
I voted for Hillary because I didn't know.
But I guess seeing a UFO in 1996 was the first thing that.
Yes, I love UFO stories. Oh my god, please tell me.
Perfect.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead, tell the story, Aaron.
Okay, I was driving to Minnesota. I was living in here, Door County, but my family was back in Minnesota, so I was going back and forth. I was driving to Minnesota through Chippewa Falls. It was in the summer. It was in the afternoon, 3 in the afternoon, 1996, and I saw this silver disc, zipping around in the sky. And I pulled my car over. I was the only car on the highway. And I got out. I was in a Fiero. I got out. I'm looking at this thing. It's zipping around and stopping. And it's clearly a disc. It's actually that.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I saw. And I thought, oh, I got my camcorder. So I grabbed my camcorder. And I hit the thumb turn on button. It powered up and then it powered down. Didn't get one single shot.
Of course.
And then the car went like it zoomed away. But I had this really ooky feeling, and I always wanted to see one, but it wasn't like I thought it was going to be. It was kind of ooky. It was spooky.
It gives you a weird feeling.
It makes you think like you're not supposed to see it or something like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went crazy trying to figure it out. I had a cable access show, and we aired 3 times here in Sturgeon Bay. 10,000 people in this little town. It goes up to about 5,000 in the summer because of tourists, but and they took me off the air and they threatened the cops. The chief of police called me up. It was like a little after 5. He was screaming at me, "Aaron Morier, do you stop your UFO show?" It was a cable access show. It was a call-in, a live call-in show. And I said, "But don't you officer me?" And he said, I'm not going to scream the whole time, but basically he said, it's a very screaming, angry voice. "If you don't stop your show, I'm going to throw you in jail, throw away the key. No one will ever know where you are." And this is a small town. They can do that here.
Yeah.
And I lived a block and a half from the cop station. I was like, I didn't sleep for like a week.
I wouldn't either.
It was very scary.
Oh my God.
And so, and I had the cops called on me when I tried to deliver my 4th episode to the studio. And it was just crazy.
Wow.
I mean, that's shocking. I mean, like, as many times as I've heard this story, it still just blows me away every time. I mean, to think a small town like that, I mean, why does he care so much about controlling that narrative, I mean,
coming down that hard?
Yeah,
well,
it's
I
crazy.
think we rely very heavily on tourism, and I think any kind of maybe publicity, but there was a big UFO here back in the 50s. It was seen in 2 different towns about 30 miles away from each other, so it was gigantic. And a sheriff's car drove underneath it, and it was gigantic, I guess, back in the 50s. But people are still afraid to talk about it because they think if they're going to lose their job. And
I mean, have they been to Roswell, New Mexico? I mean, like that. I would imagine they're really good for tourism.
Well, yeah, I guess if they decided, but it's like a cottage, bed and breakfast and that type of a.
Right. So it wasn't matching their aesthetic, huh?
It's the up north for Chicago people and people from down south. But I did years later. I was driving in the YMCA in Sturgeon Bay with my daughter and a friend. We dropped a friend off, and there was these 2 gigantic lights, right at treetop level. 2 gigantic lights, a white light and a red light, and they were moving smoothly across the sky. It was 8:30 at night, so it was dark, but it's treetop, gigantic lights. And 2 other cars stopped. I stopped my car. Me and my daughter got out, and we were click, 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 click. We got 4 good pictures of it. But in the pictures, the lights were very small, but they were gigantic when we saw them. 2 cars stopped, to ask what it was. And my daughter was like, "Oh my God, Dad! Oh my God! I'll never disbelieve you again, Dad! This is so exciting! I can't believe I saw a UFO! I can't believe I saw a UFO!" And a week later, she said, "Dad, don't ever tell anybody what I saw."
Wow!
Because of the slapback she got.
Oh, from telling people about it?
But that's like the most excited I'd ever seen anyone in my life, and now she's like prevented from having that excitement.
Oh man! Well, so Aaron, do you have a last follow up for Judith, because we've got 8 people in the room, and I want to get to everybody tonight.
All right.
We can talk about aliens all night, but you know what I mean.
Thank you, Judith. You rock.
Thank you.
Maybe you
Thank
come
you
on
for
my show.
sharing.
You can come on my show, Truth Quest.
That'd be fun. Yeah.
Aaron's
hit me
awesome.
up.
I can
You
vouch
email
for him.
me. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can email me. I'm jude@judithrose.co.
Okay.
Feel free.
Excellent.
That's
Thank
something-
you.
Of course. I'd love to.
All right.
Have a good
Aaron, always a pleasure, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
Peace in.
Pete.
Yes.
That's great.
Oh, sweet.
All right. All right. So let's see. We're going with Sweta next. Sweta is one of our Indian correspondents.
Yes.
Let's see. Sweta, are you there?
Connecting to audio.
Yeah, it'll take just a second. So while we're waiting for Sweta to hop in, I did need to say thank you to Kaylee. She said, keep the red pills coming. Where we go one, we go all. I appreciate you, Kaylee. Sweta, welcome to the show. What's going on tonight?
Hi, Red Pill. Nothing much actually. Now, I just had an observation to make.
Okay.
The very kind of censorship around the President of America's tweets and his the censorship around suspending the tweets of the Twitter account of the President of America's son and the tweets of Trump supporters. If that doesn't open people's eyes about a shadow government that's more powerful than the President of America himself, that should open the eyes of people, to the idea of, a shadow government that is, a connection between the CIA, the military-industrial complex, and, the media like CNN and MSNBC.
Right.
With the kind of outrage mob that's on Twitter and on the streets like Antifa, and, they go and censor, QAnon accounts.
Right, right. Now, Judith, I mean, this is an excellent point, and I think that for people on the right, it's very obvious because you look and you see just this coordinated effort by all of these different groups and these different people, what's really funny to me is that freedom of speech used to be a tenet of the left. You had the ACLU speaking out. Doesn't matter what the speech is, you have the right to say it, and they will protect it at all costs. But now, the only speech that you're allowed to have is what they consider to be socially responsible or acceptable. Do people, did you ever notice people on the left being aware of this coordination against President Trump and people on the right?
What's crazy is you would think that it would be super obvious, like exactly what Sweta was talking about. But on the left, when you're like in it, if you know what I mean, some people still don't even believe in a shadow government. They just think that that they're getting what they deserve,
right.
Because they make you believe that these people are evil and they shouldn't have a platform anyway. So when they get censored, you're just like, yeah, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Some people are so blind that they just think that they deserve that. And they don't think about the fact that they're being censored by something higher up. I don't know who they think it is. If they think it's just the Democrats, but it's who would have more control than the president. It's just it's frustrating. But like I said, when you're in it, you just think, yeah, do that.
And then when you look into the origins of these tech companies and their direct ties to intelligence or DARPA, it just becomes even clearer. What they'll do is they'll take somebody, they'll build them up, they'll finance them, they'll have them create this technology. And, something like Facebook and, plenty of other social media stuff, they've convinced people to make a file online about themselves that can be viewed at any time and a complete inventory of everything they do in their life, including their location and, what they're planning to do later and what their interests are. And it just makes people a lot easier to be controlled and to be exploited. All right, Sweta, do you have any follow-up for Judith?
Not really, but I have sent you 5 emails, Redfield, so that you'd notice just at the beginning of the, at this live stream for an interview request with, Roger Tolsis, Eric Karlstrom, and Karen M. Stewart.
Okay.
Roger Tolsis, if you could go to bugspeeds.com, at the bottom of the website, you have his number, but in my email, I have sent you his number as well.
Perfect.
And Roger Tolsis, he has worked with the, targeted individuals and found microchips on them. which had been implanted on them without their knowledge and without their consent. And, they could say something was wrong with them. And then they contacted him, and he's a private investigator in America. And using, equipment, detector, like sort of an X-ray or something, he actually found those things. So if you could, interview Roger Tols's, and if you could request even Ann Vandersteel to, interview, it would be really useful for targeted individuals and, even for your audience.
Oh, I would love to talk to him. I'll reach out to him on Monday. Mondays is when I do all the scheduling for the upcoming weeks. So
thanks so much.
All right,
and
sweetheart.
again, I'd like to follow up on one more thing. This Change My Mind session, if you could have with Jason Burmis and Robbie Martin. Now,
Sure.
Jason Burmis is not just QAnon. It's also he's not very open-minded about UFOs. Now, it's not that I'm a hardcore believer of UFOs, but being a target individual, you learn to become open-minded about things.
Sure.
So, Jason Burmis and Edge of Wonder guys are people, I've seen both of their shows, and I can tell that from their personality types, that they would love to hang out with each other, even if they don't end up agreeing on QAnon or on UFOs, and that would be a nice thing. And I think Robbie Martin, you would be someone who would would be able to hang out over a beer and just over a game of baseball or something.
Right
so
on,
I would
right on.
still suggest that you and Edge of Wonder had a Change of Mind session with Jason Burmis and Robbie Martin on QAnon. And the 2 points that you could talk about is you should talk about with Jason Burmis is not all Q posts are to be taken seriously, because some of them are for distracting the deep state.
Sure.
And he also mentions that it's not all new info research in Q posts, as long as the info is legit and it is making people more, it is refreshing the memory, and mainstream media won't talk about it. I don't see what's the harm in it, even if
Absolutely.
it's not something that it's new info or new research and it's already been there in the public domain for some time. It's refreshing the people's mind. So they're never going to be people who are going to get excited about all Q posts, but as long as they become open-minded about QAnon and they become keen and curious observers of Q posts, that would be really useful to the Republicans. And through Robbie Martin, you will also have you will also be able to get through to media influencers among the left, like Abby Martin, Aaron Mate, Max Blumenthal, Jimmy Dore, Graham Elwood, Caitlin Johnston, and Luke We Are Change, which would be very useful.
I can totally see how that would be. Thank you, sweet. I appreciate that. I will. I promise I will reach out on Monday. But thanks again for your call.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right.
Bye.
Have a beautiful evening.
Thanks, you too.
All right, good stuff.
Wow.
Sweeta, she's always very excited, and she's always got tons of information. Okay, looks like Love by the Moon is back in the room, so we're going to try to bring her in. And here she is. It looks like it's going to work, so we're just waiting for her microphone. Let me see. There was another message that I got here, and oh no, yes, right here. Carmen says, for Red Pill, you are the next generation coast to coast. That is a wonderful thing for you to say. I used to love Art Bell Coast to Coast, and if I can be totally honest, that is definitely something that I would be down for emulating. That's why I try to talk about so many different things, because I have all of these things we talk about are things that I'm interested in or I've researched to some degree, so I'm excited about that. So thank you very much. I really appreciate that. That's a very, very nice compliment. Well. All right. So are you familiar with Coast to Coast AM? I mean, it's an older radio show.
But I get the gist of what they mean. You know what I mean? And I'm like, that's nice. And I could definitely see you having your own program, like on a bigger platform for sure, like reaching more people. But you already reached so many.
I do. Yeah. And it's growing. It's still growing. So I think I'm going to hit 254,000 subscribers, maybe after tonight, because I'm sure that you brought a bunch of people over from Twitter.
We've been advertising it today.
Love by the Moon is still not. Oh, you're here.
Yay!
Oh, okay, it worked. Okay, go ahead. What's your question for Judith? And welcome once again to the show.
Of course. Actually, really, I wanted to thank you both. Really, I think this is fantastic, Judith. I think we need. Well, a lot of us women are coming forward, which is really, really good. And some of us are in the back. Okay, if you can see me holding up my hand, that's like me. I'm in the back, and I'm doing my research, but I'm so stoked, you don't even know. Because listen, it's like this bridges the gap for all of us. I have been promoting for over a year. We need to listen. We need to get the other people's sides of the story. Well, nobody was talking to me. So here comes Judith. And Judith, I do have a question.
What's that?
How did you handle the research when you started researching? How'd that go for you?
Well, it was a lot of like, I was on TikTok, right? And I found conspiracy TikTokers, and then I was like reading their comments, and I would get recommendations for things, and that's kind of what got me to like Out of Shadows and Young Pharaoh. And so those were like pretty big key elements for me, because I had already been watching like Black History and the Epstein documentary, and just anything else that that was like fairly easily accessible to me. Like Ancient Aliens is on Hulu. So I was like bouncing around between these different programs and things online that were recommended to me. And it just sort of happened, but it took some time.
Yeah. Did you have a tough time? I guess is what I'm, trying to get out of you.
These subjects can be mentally devastating for people. If somebody comes into this, research world, conspiracy world, and they have absolutely no idea about the true nature of the fabric of reality, and they dive in head first, it can be devastating, but
emotionally.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I've spent like a good chunk of my life like depressed and down anyway about like other stuff, and for whatever reason, like yes, it's absolutely horrible, but again, it was like it's just better knowing. Like it's awful, but I'm just so glad to know now. And there were some moments where I was like, oh, this is really heavy, awful stuff, but I didn't like. I know some people have a period where they like can't sleep for a week and they throw up and all these things, there's sort of like a period of just, it's really like literally it's like physically hard for some people to wake up. And I wouldn't say mine was that severe, but I did have several days, 3 or 4 days in a row where I couldn't sleep very well and just felt kind of like full of adrenaline, like it was, physically keeping me up at night for a little bit, but I meditate a lot. I have my medicine, and I just try to like get myself calmed down at the end of the day. It's a lot to process. It's a lot of dark things. So it is important to like sit down and like reprogram your brain and put some positivity in there and just breathe and be like, okay, we're going to rest now, new day. Now, that kind of thing, you have to kind of talk yourself through it. So it's, I don't know, for me, it's just like, it was just, for some reason, it was easier to work through than like my own personal darkness. I don't know. I've already been through a lot of like anguish that I've had to work past just to like function as a human, because everything is so wacky, and I've always wondered what's wrong with the world. And now I know why I don't really fit in, or why I have trouble working government jobs, like I'm literally not meant for this. And so it like solved a lot of things for me personally. It was like, oh, that's why, and now I'm like, now I have a purpose, and now I want to talk to people, and like, it opened up a whole world for me. So emotionally, I was like, I'm ready for this.
Oh.
I can totally relate to that. Oftentimes I've found that people who are drawn to this stuff and who are already ready to accept the true nature of the world, they've had that same experience. They have felt a disconnection, knowing that something is so fundamentally wrong, but not being able to define it, not being able to put it into words, and being told that you are the problem. It's not the system, it's not the world, it's you. Something is wrong with you. But in actuality, it's the way that they've done everything. They've set it up so that it is, it's already, it's unfair from the get-go. All right, Love by the Moon, any follow-up for Judith?
No, I would just, again, say thank you. We are a very loving community here, and most of us, there's a lot of people still waking up, so most of us are very loving and encompassing people, and, there's no point in being nasty to anybody. We're all in the middle, right? Aren't we?
Right.
In the middle there. So anyway, I don't want to take up a lot of time, but I love you guys, and
thank you.
you take care, and I'll be talking to you soon.
All right. Love you too. We'll see you again very soon.
All right.
Have a great night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Yep. Bye-bye. All right. So we're going to talk to Denise next, but real quick, I need to say thank you to Our Cloaked Unseen World. Nikola Tesla quote number 51, and I'm assuming that this passage is a quote from Nikola Tesla. Out of this war, the greatest since the beginning of our history, a new world must be born, a world that would justify the sacrifices offered by humanity. This new world must be a world in which there shall be no exploitation of the weak by the strong, of the good by the evil, where there will be no humiliation of the poor by the violence of the rich, where the products of intellect, science, and art will serve society for the betterment and beautification of life, and not the individuals for achieving wealth. This new world shall not be a world of the downtrodden and humiliated, but of free men and free nations, equal in dignity and respect for man. Red Pill 78, Our Cloaked Unseen World, says you should watch Charlie Ward's and request to interview him yourself. He has a connection to 2 Trump advisors and knows everything. Gesara Nasara, also stuff I talked about on your show most, is on my video, Uncloaking Our Cloaked Unseen World. Thank you very much. I think that passage, that quote from Nikola Tesla is very apt for our time, and I will go ahead and reach out to Charlie for sure. Denise, you are on the line. How is my UK correspondent?
Denise.
I'm good, thank you. Hello, Red Pill. Hello, Judith.
Hey.
I just want to say that I followed you, Judith, with fascination from your first video when you woke up. I laughed my head off. It was so funny. But you're very, very good at making these little videos. I watched the one with the pointy fingers only today. Very good, yeah. And don't worry, there's a lot of black sheep out here, Judith, who always felt as though we didn't fit in anywhere. And when we woke up, we found that we did fit, only not in the world they want us to fit in. We fitted in a whole different world. But more power to you. You're a very intelligent, clever young lady who gets your point across well. And you have a huge following.
Thank you.
And you'll continue to grow. I think there's great things in your future, and I hope you get your little hobbit hutch.
Yes.
Your little hobbit home.
That's what I want.
We lost our Red Pill knows that on Facebook I'm part of a group, and we were 12,000 plus strong up until 3 days ago, and we got nuked. So it took us a day to get another one up and slowly building people back up again. But it was a hard hit, considering we've never had a strike, never had a warning, nothing. They just nuked us.
Shame.
But yeah, more power to you, Judith. Keep doing what you're doing, because you do it well. You do it really well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Denise. I appreciate you calling.
Okay, Red Pill, night.
Have a great night.
Bye.
Always a pleasure. Bye-bye. All right, so somebody in the chat who clearly doesn't like the president, he said that we were sick people because we truly believe that President Trump is saving the world. And I said his record speaks for itself. I mean, he's done more good for America. Remember, he's the president of the United States of America. Our first responsibility is to the people of America. We can't help the rest of the world unless our country is strong. And obviously this gentleman thinks that we are racists and somehow bigots, but it couldn't be further from the truth. You know, I have seen more racism and intolerance coming out of people on the left, people who, openly preach that they are against racism. And if you look up the definition of racism, you know, there are no races that are excluded from that. I mean, hate and intolerance towards any group of people, in my mind, and I believe in most people in this movement's minds as well, is unacceptable. And, you know, it doesn't matter to me what the color of your skin is. It doesn't matter to me what country you hail from. All people deserve equal respect, and that includes me as a white male, as it would, you know, if I was a male of some other color or country of origin.
I mean, all people deserve respect, dignity, a place to live, food, water. You know what I mean? Like, we all deserve safety. So the thing that I see happening is, like, you know, there's a lot of things that the president does that people misunderstand, and
there's also a lot of misreporting by the mainstream media too.
They take it and they run with it, but like, you know, then that's what I was believing beforehand too, that like anybody supporting Trump was automatically, you know what I mean, a bad person, and I had to like let that go and speak to people. And when I first was going viral, I was like, okay, so here are the questions I've always wanted to ask, you know. And I was like, I'm finally ready to talk to Trump supporters and figure out what all the hype is, you know what I mean? And that feels way better than coming in and being a jerk.
Absolutely.
Just to know whoever's in your chat.
And I just want to say thank you to everybody who is here tonight. And if you are a leftist who thinks that Donald Trump is terrible and you want to call in, we can talk about it. I'm totally cool with that, because I'm confident in my position. So let's go ahead. We've got Ribbit coming in next. I love the frog.
The frog thing. I still don't fully understand it, but I'm still learning more about the whole like K-E-K frog, like
Kek, yeah. Kek means LOL. And I do need to say thank you to my buddy Robert Beatles. Robert, I was wearing my Monarch shirt today, and I almost took a selfie and sent you the picture. I should have done it. He said, great to see hearts and minds change to the right side of the cause. God bless y'all. Where we go one, we go all. Thank you so much, Robert. And also, thank you to Fairy Gems. Fairy Gems. I'll try to contribute more often. Well, Fairy Gems, the very fact that you're here and that you've contributed at all means that you're appreciated. So thank you. Ribbit, are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. What's going on tonight? How are you?
I'm doing pretty well, and I am so relieved to see somebody like Judith around, because she is a soft spot to lend for a lot of people who are about to wake up and face a reality that is very harsh. I started this whole thing in 2008 myself. 2008. This is way before Q, right?
Yeah.
I was always the type to search for spirituality and all of that. So I dabbled in Wicca, I dabbled in Christianity. I was one of those dabblers, right?
I've done that too.
So, but from the very beginning, my family was never religious. Something happened to me at 5 years old or thereabouts that scared me so much that in the middle of the night, I crawled under my bed, and in pitch darkness, I drew Jesus Christ on the cross under my bed. I don't know to this day what happened for me to have done that. But all my life I've been searching because of these things that have happened, pardon me, in my life. And then I became a computer programmer. I'm very analytical, and I have this creative side, but I found that I could make more money in the analytical side of myself. So I went into computer programming. After a few years, I met somebody that was a temporary worker at where I worked, and he gave me a hard drive. This was in 2007. And it was chock full of information, videos, documents, all kinds of stuff. The Club of Rome, Satanist cults, all that stuff, all of it on one hard drive.
Oh my.
Needless to say, I had just been black-pilled.
Yeah. You skipped the red pill, went straight to the black pill.
I was black-pilled. I lost my job in 2008.
Oh.
I had just been promoted and I lost my job because I was in deep depression. I was so emotionally raw that every little thing reminded me of what really is happening.
That's understandable.
I lost it.
Yeah.
So after losing my job, I couldn't stay. I'm from Canada, so I was in BC at the time, and it's very expensive to live there. I couldn't stay there, so I had to move back to Quebec, which is on the east coast of Canada. I don't know if you remember me, Red Pill.
Of course I do. Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So basically, I came back to Quebec totally black-pilled, depressive, anxiety-ridden, all kinds of problems. And from 2008 to 2017, when I, through this whole hunting pedophiles online that I tried, and just run myself into a wall, emotionally, couldn't sleep, couldn't do crap, couldn't do anything. All those years, and then I found Q, and I found that he was, or they were, whatever, who was disseminating this information at large, was saying a lot of what I had seen that blackpilled me. So at first it scared the living heck out of me, because I figured, here comes the worldwide black pill.
Yeah.
This was in 2017. But then the more it went on and the more I realized that it was a for the future type thing, and these were seeds being planted in the consciousness of humanity to be blossoming at a certain time where people are willing and ready to accept the information. When Q said, if I were, or we were to tell you everything right now, you'd be in the hospital.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how I survived, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can tell you I had the exact same experience, and, I lived in the bottom of a bottle for, a number of years, and that was the only way that I could deal with it.
Red Pill?
Yeah.
78 is your year of birth?
Yes.
I think you and I were in the same boat.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the
Our
exact same-
generation.
Yeah.
I saw Rwanda on TV.
Oh, yeah. 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 That was tough. It was real tough.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, this is one of the most beautiful things about this movement, is that all of us, having experienced this to, one degree or another, we understand, and we're here for each other. And the beauty of it is, because we've already been to hell and back, okay, all I can see is that rainbow on the other side. We are moving forward. We are going towards something so beautiful. And, all of that stuff is behind us. I mean, we've already crested that hump, and we are so close to the finish line, but even then, once we get to that point, we've got years and years of work ahead of us, and so because of that, it's so important that all of us are present, that we are, clear and able to be here for each and every one of the others, so that, we can lift each other up when we're feeling down, and we can keep doing the work.
Yeah. So I'm going to go because I'm an emotional wreck.
Right.
But Judith, much love to you.
Appreciate
Keep going.
You keep going too. I'm here to get us through the last stretch.
I'm hanging on.
We're here for you.
Trying to be
Ribbit.
that we're almost there cheerleader for you.
I'm
Okay?
in Canada, so I know that you guys are the red line.
Yeah.
We're almost there. I woke up at this time for a reason, because I still got energy. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Love you guys.
Love you too, Ribbit. Thank you for calling.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. So, great call. You guys, we've got 11 people on the line still. I don't know that we're going to get through everybody. We're going to try to. Let's take some phone number calls, because I know that those get pushed to the bottom.
11 people.
Go ahead and call and mute your stream. I'm going to mute you for a moment there, caller, so you can mute your stream in the background, and then we can get you back on. I'm going to go ahead and unmute your call if your stream is muted in the background. Caller number 9393. Are you there?
Hey, Red Pill, how you doing, buddy?
Good. What can we get your name for the audience?
I'll go by Maxwell's Noose.
Maxwell's News. Okay, that's totally fine with me. A nom de plume, we'll go with it. So, Maxwell, what's going on tonight, brother? What's your question for Judith?
Well, I got a couple things. Red Pill, I just want to say that you've been a shining light for the last couple of months for me.
Oh, dude, thanks.
I'm really identifying with your last caller. You know, what an emotional night. I mean, what an emotional time we're going through.
Yeah.
And I just want to thank you so much because, you know, you've just been, you know, on the mark every single day. Like, we can count on you, and it's amazing. And the other thing that I wanted to say is that, Judith, I was there the day that you signed on to Twitter at 200 followers.
What?
Yeah. And
200.
And I followed you when you were at like 200 and something followers, and I saw you go to like 20,000 in like 24 hours.
It's crazy, right?
You know, it was like, it was just following you. It was just so cool, like, you know, to see, like, you know, you waking up and other people coming on board.
It was so crazy. I was just like, people! It was such a crazy day.
Yeah, yeah. But you guys, you just, you know, just keep doing what you're doing. You guys are fantastic, and I'm really, really happy to be part of this. What's going on right now, and couldn't ask for better people.
Maxwell's News, thank you very much, dude. It's my pleasure and honor to be here and to be able to do this stuff. And, you know, I know how important it is, and I know that there is a lot of work to be done if we're going to make sure that more people continue to wake up on a daily basis. And that's my goal. You know, I want to get the information out to people. I want people to understand that, you know, this is life or death. You know, I mean, we're talking about the future of our country and the future of our world. And President Trump, truly, if you objectively look at the records of every single president, you know, you're going to have to go back to Kennedy before you find somebody that has even attempted to do what President Trump is doing. Maxwell's Noose, I love the name, and thank you for your call, brother.
Amen. Thank you very much. Have a great night, you guys.
You too, dude. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Awesome. I love you guys. Thank you so much for the calls. These are great calls tonight. I knew it was going to be like this. Caller 3513, can we get your name for the audience? Or a nom de plume?
Yeah, we'll just go with Tracy.
Tracy, excellent. Welcome to the show. What's your question for Judith?
Good. I just want to tell Judith one thing, and she has to listen close to this because it's the most important thing she'll ever hear. I have always been somebody that's been inspirational to other people. I've always been told, God, you're such an inspiration. You've inspired me to do things. I'm telling you right now, with your youth and your spirit and your love and your joy and everything that you're putting out there, your positivity, you're going to inspire so many people that you're not going to know what to do because the love is going to be so heavy just from the inspiration alone. And that is something God has his hand on you, just like God has his hand on Trump and this nation right now. And you are a huge part of this. So I want you to know, keep the blue hair because that makes you unique. Keep the inspiration going because that makes you love. And just keep doing exactly what you're doing because you're doing exactly everything the right way, the way you should be. And Zak, I absolutely love you, bro. I watch your show every day. I don't miss any one of your shows. Even if I don't watch it live, I go back and watch it that night, and I just love everything about you. You are absolutely also an inspiration to a lot of people out here. And all I can tell you guys is just keep up the love. And I'm going to go ahead and get off the line because I want to see what the rest of the callers that are still waiting on the line have to say. But Judith, keep up the good work, girl. We love you.
Great. Thank you so much, Tracy. I really appreciate that. It's really sweet. I'm still getting used to like the heavy compliments. I'm just like, ah.
And God loves you. And just continue inspiration.
Tracy, thank you so much for your call and the kind words. I really appreciate it. It's my honor to be here.
All right. Love you guys both.
Love you too. Have a great night. Oh, man. You guys are so nice. Let's see. We're gonna go with Brooklyn next. Brooklyn coming up. Thank you so much, you guys. I appreciate you watching, and I appreciate you being here every day when I put out these videos. I wouldn't be able to continue, if it wasn't for you. Black Pill 81. He said that caller brought in the waterworks. So glad to have the opportunity to hear the testimony of yet another whom has awakened from the brain fog that plagues the planet. Kudos to you, Judith, for standing up and out for truth. Thank you so much, Black Pill 81. I appreciate that, brother. And yeah, so, here's the thing. As soon as I saw that first video, I was like, I have to reach out to her. I have to get her on the show, it was inevitable. I said there is something special about her, the way that she's doing this, and I knew that it wasn't just going to be a flash in the pan. It wasn't just going to be a shot in the dark, I think you have a very, very bright future ahead of you. And the last caller, Tracy, she's totally right. You're perfect. The way that you're doing it, okay, your attitude towards everything, it's exactly what we need, and it's exactly what you need to do to continue to be successful. So Brooklyn's microphone is not connecting, so we're going to go with Kayleen. Bring Kayleen in. Let's see. Hopefully Kayleen's will work, and then in the meantime, maybe Brooklyn can get their microphone working. But let me get a count here, guys, and the number of viewers. We got 4,063 people here, 2,000.
I'm here.
Likes. Oh. Which one is that? Is that Brooklyn?
Brooklyn.
Okay, awesome, Brooklyn. Make sure your stream is
oh my God, my dog
in the background.
Hold on one sec. My dog is having a fit.
No problem.
Wait.
We know what happened.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. My very first episode watching you live was when your dog went banana pants under your desk.
Muffingate, yeah. Muffingate.
And then with White Hat, we have, what is it, Rubygate?
Yep.
Because he has a pug. Well... it's walk away Saturday apparently, and I like this. We're out here spreading love. I show up in the chat as the Brooklyn way.
Okay.
Anyway, and also too, just before I say what I wanted to say, I love Sveta, and I don't want people to give her a hard time because she speaks so quickly. She's from India. I spent the summer there. I spent the summer there, so I can understand her, and I can recognize the value in the fact that many people can't, because there are times when she gets excited where I'm like, okay, I have to focus, but I can understand her.
No, you definitely. Every time she's got something, of value, in a variety of ways to say.
She's got the sauce, yo. She drops it like it's hot. I love it. So, and I love it. Like, okay, I'm going to follow up on this, Judith. So it's walk away Saturday, and I was literally right when you put me in. Am I still there?
Yeah.
Okay. Right when you when Red Pill brought me in, I was literally about to tweet out to you, Red Pill, and then to Adam Krigler and Dr. Karlin Borsenko, because they did a very similar thing. So I watched them live, and then I came in here, and this is great that this is happening today, that y'all have done this, because look at all of this hot trash, garbage pail nonsense. I just saw a tweet from effing NBC. It made my ears turn warm and my freckles started moving, because I was just like, I was really mad because I don't understand. Now, I'm not going to sit here and ask like some dumb rhetorical question. Oh, but why? What about corporate responsibility, and how come they're not? Yeah, because we know the answer to that question. MSM is basically these massive toxic narcissists, like circus of flying monkeys, and they do their bidding. We know that.
Very true.
But one of the things, Judith, that I wanted to say to you, or rather ask you, for me, I lived in New York a long time. I still have a spot up in Bushwick. I'm trying to get up there to get my stuff. A lot of my friends are hardcore social justice warriors, and one of them that I've known for years, he's a white guy, but he's got a lot of black friends. He literally took the time to Facebook message me the other morning. I've really always, we've been down since day one back in the day. Like, I've really known the kid a long time. He's like, but unfortunately, you just need to know that I can't F's with you no more. But he spelled it like Fuchs. And I was like, That's like the equivalent of going out to like a white glove, like 5-star restaurant and announcing to the waiter that you have to pee. Like nobody cares. Do what you have to do. Get up out of your chair, politely excuse yourself, and go handle your business. And the
tell me.
the gaslighting and just the incessant virtue signaling and the cognitive dissonance. And that's one thing that Carlin was talking about. I would love for you to go on her show because she interviews people too. And I'm going to mention that in the tweet actually.
Sure,
but
yeah,
definitely. But one of the things that she was saying was, so her walkaway story is interesting because she was in a knitting group and she was like, God, these people hate Trump. It's like vitriolic, like vile spewing forth of constant like nastiness. And you really she said that she had gone to, this was in New Hampshire, a Democrat event or convention, and everyone was just so cranky and nasty. The Bernie people were lobbying like insult across the aisle at the other people, the other Democrat, more Dem-centric people, donkey levels. And she said, but then she went to the Trump one and it was in the same event space. And she couldn't believe how nice. She was like, everyone was so happy and was so nice. And she said that one of the things that she experienced as she started waking up and having this experience was that she saw her own cognitive dissonance as related, and she was getting headaches. And I was listening to you speak a moment ago about some of the aftershocks or after effects, I guess, that you experienced, because I think someone asked you about that. And she said something very similar. And, I think that, I don't remember if it was a Q drop or what, but there was a point when someone said there will be a percentage of people who can't wake up. And that's because I guess, from a spiritual perspective, it would appear to me that the people who are really getting the angriest at us are maybe they just have contracts with the dark side and they don't know how to break them.
That could be, if somebody has been fed a lie their entire life and everything in their life is based upon that, they're very invested, and in order to step away from that, they have to admit that everything that they know is wrong, and that can just be devastating for some people. Well, Brooklyn, I just want to get the final say from you on this, and then we'll get Judith to answer because we are at 10:56 and we only have time for one more caller.
Thank you to whoever in the chat said let someone else talk. Well, I called in because I had something to say, and so go away. Judith, thank you. You're amazing. And you just keep doing what you're doing because we need you.
Thank you.
And I love your facial expressions when you hear things that interest you. You're very expressive and it's quite refreshing. All right. Y'all have a nice night and God bless.
Brooklyn, God bless. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks.
Yeah. Bye. All right. So we've got Kayleen next. Kayleen, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah. Welcome to the show. What's your question for Judith?
Not so much a question. I just wanted to let her know that I relate to her too. I'm 27 and I started waking up in March when all of this went on. We had actually still went on our San Diego vacation as a family. So we hadn't done any of the grocery shopping. I wasn't super convinced this COVID stuff was real. And then we came home and everything was cleared out of the grocery stores. And I was like, okay, what else is going on? Something else has to be going on. Yeah. And that's kind of how I was introduced to Q. Yeah. And actually, I had heard of QAnon and our favorite segment.
It's okay. Thank you, though, Kayleen.
Yeah. But I just thought that it was another name for anonymous. So I didn't look into it. Yeah. And then what actually got me was the president's post where you had did a segment on it, Red Pill, where it was about hand washing and slowing the spread, and the O had changed to a Q.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was super liberal. I was totally anti-Trump. I thought he was racist and homophobic. And I was like, if the president's tweeting this, then there's probably something to it. And so I fell down that rabbit hole, and it gets like really, really deep and really dark. And I think, in a way, we're lucky because I'm finding more and more that I'm talking to people and they're going through the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we are going through that dark phase, but it's not as long as some of the other people who have been following this since 2000 or 2008.
Oh, yeah.
And I was even we were at a party today, and it was a bunch of older conservative people, and they were saying that they didn't have hope for the younger generation. And I was like, well, don't say that, because I'm here and like I know who I'm voting for this year, and it's not the same people who it was before. And you try to explain to people and you just can't. Like, they have to read it and see the proof. And
yeah,
I have people who, like, I just kind of plant the seeds, and then they know that they can come to me if they have questions. I try to put it out there in a way that, like, I'm making fun of myself, because it is hard to come out and say, like, yeah, I'm super pro like this, or I believe this. So it's not just you, it's not just me. There's so many people waking up right now, and I always refer people to, Red Pill 78 and the other important vloggers on here. So yeah, I'll let you guys go because I know it's late. So
all right, Kayleen, thank you so much. I appreciate you calling in, and thanks for watching too.
Of course. Bye.
All right, we'll see you. All right, you guys, we are at the 11 o'clock hour. So, man, what a great show, you guys. Please share this link. Get people out there watching this. I'm really hoping that we can bring as many people into the fold as possible. Not only people on the right who haven't seen the show yet, but also people on the left who are thinking about defecting. Judith, I want to give you the last word. What do you want people to take away?
Well, it was kind of like what I said earlier, and it kind of got a little emotional. I think I woke up at this time on purpose, and there's a big wave of people waking up coming, and so I just want all the people that are like exhausted from being awake for a long time to know that, like, we really are. It really feels like we're almost there. We're hitting a new phase. There's more people feeling it. There's more people entering the rabbit hole and being like, oh, okay, so it's happening. And I can see it happening, and like I said, I'm here to try to get us past the finish line and be here for people who, are confused or anything like that. So.
All right, awesome. Well, once again, you're doing a great job. You're always welcome on the channel. If you want to come back again, I've got a number of shows. We can always have a conversation, and I think it would be great. I'll be more than happy to help you, like, fully launch, like, once you start doing other stuff. So you just let me know, okay?
Appreciate you. I'd love that. Yeah, we have, like, I still wanted to talk about, like, aliens and all that other stuff.
Oh, but, well, we'll save it for the next episode. Yeah. We got to have something else to talk about. All right, you guys. Once again, Judith, thank you so much for being here. Thank you to everyone in the audience. Thank you for the participation and the excellent phone calls and keeping the chat comfy. Thank you to the mods for wrangling those squirrels in the chat room, and thank you to everybody who supported the program through Cash App and PayPal. I appreciate you guys. Methods and I will be back tomorrow for Comfy Sunday at 7 p.m. with our special guest, Craig Mason of Craig Mason's Reasonable Conversation channel. Always a good time. All right, you guys, good luck. God bless.